Last point I'm going to make, and I'll open it up to questions. This is an obvious question you're going to get. If the United States is not going to play Leviathan in the Middle East, China's not ready, what happens? The locals take over the asylum. How that's going to look. My simplistic primer. 4 countries that matter, head of Arab culture, big player in the region, not Arab, but Sunni, Shiite, and Persian, not Arab, and then the religious center of gravity in the system. These are the 4 players that matter. Remember, Al-Qaeda begins as an organization dedicated to the overthrow of these 2 players. Not surprisingly, in terms of most dominant regional franchises, they are still targeting those players. We have rivalries here. Erdogan thought he was going to run the Muslim Brotherhood here, turned it into a little Turkey, didn't work out. These guys are best friends, so to speak, except they're not. They're competing right now in Iraq. They're competing right now in Syria. These guys are serious rivals, can't stand each other. Big mistake, you ever go to the Persian Gulf, don't call it the Persian Gulf. Because the Saudis, UAE, they don't care for that language. There is the long-term rivalry about who's going to be the center of culture in this region. These guys now have revamped ambitions, naturally feel competitive towards them. The fear, the nightmare is, this guy gets surrounded. It's not just that they control, in the minds of the Saudis, Baghdad and Damascus. It's that they control Beirut and now Sana'a, however much you want to buy that. But inside Riyadh, that's a very real and palpable fear. These guys basically have a nuclear breakout capacity now being ratified by the West. It's basically a piece of paper that says, you know what? We're never going to topple your regime because we know you might just pull out a nuke. That's a rough, asymmetrical, mutual assured deterrence. They're in the club, we don't get to topple them. Too bad. But once these guys get that capacity and it's ratified and everybody knows they're 8 to 10 months from a bomb, these guys are going to cash in on a long preferred promise from the Pakistanis to get their own nuclear set. We've already seen these 2 guys go after this player down here. Not pretty. We've also seen these 2 guys basically recreate a Sunni insurgency by enabling and funding the rise of ISIS. But when you create that kind of monster, it's problematic because this one's the most fruitful we've ever seen. And truly, the nexus that we've been contemplating for a long time between transnational criminal organizations and violent extremist organizations, the best avatar we saw to date was Hezbollah, moving gold, diamonds, cocaine through North Africa. Now comes to very dramatic fruition with these guys, who are basically a mafia. They're a cash-driven basis. They pay well. They have to loot the environment they control. They will blow up for global consumption a few antiquities. The vast majority they're selling at very high prices throughout the system right now. So their smuggling operations represent the new hybrid we've been worried about, and they have to conquer land, not just because of the economic imperative, but because they're true millenarians. They want the end war. They can't wait for it. We already know Israel's got lots of nukes. When these guys get it, we are looking at a mad situation. Turkey with NATO nukes. So kind of in the club, just not in control. That's going to be a scary ride with nobody feeling responsible for it. How I think it works out in the current conflict zone that is this mess, Opotamia. I think we're looking at a Sunni heartland that neither Damascus or Baghdad can control. Unless an outsider comes in and preserves those borders, and no outsiders coming in en masse to do that, you're looking at a Sunni heartland. You're looking at a UAE-like rich Shia Iraq rump state. You're looking at a Syria minus that basically becomes a Hezbollah-driven Lebanon plus. And you're looking at a plausible Kurdistan, finally. We can talk about all sorts of reasons why this cannot happen. I'm telling you it's largely inevitable, based on what we're looking at, correlation of forces, and the willingness of outside players to do something. We can pretend we're going to break the cycle, but it's really about Turkey living with the KRG. It's really about Iran being satisfied with the rump states because the Saudis will not allow that Shia crescent to unfold in its full glory. And it's really about KSA and the GCC countries finally coming to grips with the ownership issue of the Sunni heartland. And I'll be happy to take questions.